this manna, Mike. I'm not sure what you own, but this here is on the mark. Like a spiral from a 5-star recruit, we throwing darts, really focused. WD-40 couldn't stop the way we grind it. In the trenches, putting that work in, I relate to all my linemen. This is for the men, the boys do not belong here. Tiptoeing to the top, we doing cone drills. The hottest show in the world, you don't even gotta search. Steady putting in work, you see the sweat up on my shirt. They wasn't aware of us at first, we wasn't on their radar. Now every play that we make, they gon' say, oh, similar to a razor blade, we gon' stay sharp. The news ain't official if it's not on the mark.
What it do, man? Listen, I'm up already, man. If you ain't feeling that, something wrong with you, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy, Mike, my boy Scott Rapp for putting that through last week, man. The On Your Mark show is in the building live from the Fishbowl Radio Network with my guy, and powered and sponsored by Epic Sports Apparel. Every play I compete. Back in the building off the road, man. Y'all say hi to my guy. He been out of pocket for a minute. We got a special guest today, my guy Byron Allen Sr., man. He's a father. He's been a coach as well. But he's got 2 kids that are playing at the collegiate level. We're going to talk about what he did to get those guys in that position. He also had one of his sons, go through the transfer portal. He's at a new school now. He was a top recruited safety in the country, not just in the state of Texas, a 2 or 3-time state champion at Aledo High School. So we're going to talk about that and more. But this is one of those shows that you want to pay attention to. It's going to be a lot of things given, a lot of game given today for parents, players. This is what we want to do here at the On Your Mark Show. We're always trying to elevate and educate. You know what I'm saying? My guy, B. Allen, man. What's going on, B? Man, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, man. Blessed.
Man, I appreciate you for giving us a little time stepping in. But let's go back a little bit. I always like to start with guests kind of giving your background. I know that you have a youth sports coaching background. You coached your kids all the way through. You've coached other players. And then we'll start with BJ. Let me set the table. BJ was a 4-year starter at Aledo High School, one of the top safeties in the country, signed and committed with the University of Texas, stayed at Texas for 2 years now. He's moving over to the University of North Texas. He hit the transfer portal this year. That's where he's going. He's at a new school. We'll talk about BJ first. His other son just finished up at Aledo High School, Jaden Allen, one of the top cornerbacks in the country, committed, signed, and is at the University of Arkansas now. So he's well versed in the recruiting aspect from a parent's perspective, and he can tell you all about that. But let's start with you a little bit before we get into BJ.
All right. I started off, I played football, basketball for 2 minutes. Growing up in Fort Worth, they can quickly change. So I ended up going to the military, spent a couple years there, came back. Ended up linking up with I call him family, my brother, Roy Johnson, with the Fort Worth Longhorns.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
So 10 years there, coaching Pee Wee football, just setting foundation for a lot of kids out there. If you look at that Longhorn tree, it's deep. It's immaculate. Yeah, it's a couple guys in the pros playing
absolutely.
Right now.
Yeah, well, our coach with TYSA, we used to play y'all all the time.
Oh yeah, look, war.
Absolutely, for sure.
War, and that's about it, man. I'm just out here trying to give a little game, man, especially to the kids. I think a lot of them don't keep it truth.
Yeah.
Keep it honest with themselves.
Right.
Just try and point them in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Like, every P5, it ain't P5 a bus. You can go somewhere and get seen. As like with my oldest BJ, that first stop didn't really work out for us. But
right.
He had North Texas, better make it shake.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about his high school career a little bit. He was, one of the most decorated players to come out of Aledo, especially in the secondary. A couple of state championships underneath. So he played high-level football through his high school career. What were some of the things that you guys did in initial stages just to get that exposure? Did you camp? What kind of things did you do? I know he worked with, several people, and you can go into that as well. But, he started as a freshman, but, his development, and I was around, you guys a lot to be able to see that development till he came out his senior year, and then, his senior year, he was on multiple positions. The last game that he played against South of Cliff, he was even the Wildcat quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
He was covering the best receiver at the time, and he had a stellar game then, even in a losing effort. BJ was probably the best player on Aledo's team that day.
Oh, yeah. Well, he started, like I said, Fort Worth Longhorns. We did one season at Southwest High School, and that really didn't work. I ended up getting a better opportunity career-wise that took us west. But yeah, he a lot of people don't know he started off at quarterback. So
I do.
You know, if you know football, quarterback and safety kind of mirrors. We started there. The development-wise, track, basketball, people let your kids play all sports. Let them play all sports. Once he came to me and said, "Dad, I'm really serious about this," I linked him up with Dwayne Crawford. He's a DB coach out of Dallas, and I think his background, he played for Baylor. He's a high school coach now.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we just stayed at it, man. It's like I tell everybody, it's really work outside of school. Like a lot of people think we're just gonna work at school and it's enough. It's not. I was even kind of hesitant once we moved to Aledo because, like I said, it's a storied program. So we went in and he just put the work in and ended up starting. And the rest is history.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It definitely is. Coach, he mentioned outside work. We speak about these type of things all the time. It's not just about what you do in the X's and O's within your program. If you're not working outside of that, then, the elite guys are usually doing something position specific. You mentioned track and basketball and other avenues to kind of get themselves to be at that elite level.
The game has evolved since we were younger. We played outside. We played rec ball and we did a whole bunch of, other stuff. But now kids have a higher IQ early. So if you're not putting in that extra work, you will be struggling to get on the field unless you just that super,
you
athletic
wake up out of
kid.
bed.
Absolutely. Unless you just that one in a million,
right.
You're going to struggle. So
right.
It's important for parents to understand that the earlier you can get smart work in, it's the right work.
Right.
We see a whole lot of guys on Twitter, putting up a bunch of workouts that has absolutely nothing to do with the game of football. It's a waste of time. But if you can put in the right amount of work, and keep your kid healthy, they'll be all right.
Absolutely. And I thought something that you said, smart, efficient work.
Smart, efficient. You have to be
right.
You have to be efficient in what you're doing, and the most important thing, it has to translate
Absolutely.
to the game.
Absolutely.
Right. If it doesn't translate to the game, you don't need it.
Absolutely.
Period. And that's basketball, track, whatever it is, whatever season you're in, your workout should mirror that sport.
Right.
And your IQ for that sport should be very high, extremely high. You should be a student of the game. Otherwise, you're going to be standing on the sidelines and the coach is like, I really can't trust you because I don't know if you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those things have to be done now. It's super important.
Now, B, you mentioned, the outside work. How important was it to you to kind of scope these things out? Because I know you're meticulous in what you do. You look at everything. Getting him and both guys around the correct mentors, the correct voices that they're hearing with that outside training. Tell me what you did to kind of, strategize and get that stuff together.
Oh, like Coach hit on, you got to look and make sure it's translating to the game. Like, I know it's not perfect. We went to a couple guys, and I'm looking at him like, you know what, this not going to translate to nothing he doing. So we got away from there, and like once we went with Dwayne, he played DB. So it was like, okay, everything started translating. Like I said, BJ was kind of one of those guys, like you said, just got out the bed with it. Like, my sons.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do.
Absolutely.
I did.
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
First off in the 8th grade.
Yeah.
So he was kind of one of those kids that got out of bed with it. So now it's, okay, let's humble him and let's show him what it really means to go get that work. So we got him around some pro guys, college guys. I mean, he trained with guys above his level. So once it was time to get on the high school field, it was
simple.
It's simple. Like, I had plenty of plenty of college coaches telling me, like, it's looked like he's not even trying. It was like he was just that much better.
Gifted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the big part.
Right.
Just finding, like you said, work that translates to the game.
Absolutely. Well, I think, in BJ's case, there was some natural athleticism there, long lean. His arms, everything he did right, but his eyes are what I loved about his game. And then he'll come and lay that lumber.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Physical.
Physical. Those were all the things coming out of high school. If you had a scouting report on him, those are the kind of things that he translated to the field.
Yeah.
And then the ability to hop. You mentioned multiple positions, and I go back to that sock game. I thought that was one of his better games in his career. He was all over the field. He laid it on the line. He left it on the field in that one.
That was the real BJ.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's my
real
point.
BJ,
Yeah. He brought it. And I think that was a big thing. Now, in today's game, the big thing is, I think parents and players, everybody's selective in where you go to high school at. You know what I mean? And I think that these programs are on the verge of really, kids and parents are now picking and choosing where they go. It's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Playing at Alejo High School is another level. You know what I'm saying? I've been at their spring practices. I've been at some of their workouts, and being privy to being on the inside of that. How important was it to have a high school program that met the challenges that both kids brought to the table?
Oh, it was huge. I think I sit through BJ's first practice maybe 10 minutes. Like, anybody know, if you got a teenager on that level, they kind of skate. Mm-hmm. So his first mistake, Coach McCone, defense coordinator, got right on his butt, cussing everything. I got walked out.
Yeah,
that's all I need to see.
Right,
you're gonna be kept accountable.
Right,
with any good program.
Right,
and that's simple.
Right,
they keep all the kids accountable. Like, they work. You're gonna come do your job, and we're gonna go get these dubs.
Right.
Picking a high school, like I tell everybody, they don't have to be championship every year, but they got to keep these kids accountable. Work ethic has to be on par. These college coaches don't want lazy kids.
No.
You'll get there, and no. You'll be home. You'll be home before the semester over.
Real fast.
So that's the big part. Like, at least a perennial playoff team.
Absolutely.
You don't have to go to DeSoto, Duncanville, Aledo. Just, if your team can make the playoffs, when you get to the playoffs, like I tell my kids all the time, you don't have to beat the man, but let them know you was there.
Absolutely.
Let them know you was there. So
absolutely.
That's once I got there, I was like, okay, we made them. I had been hearing about them from afar anyway.
Of course.
And really wanted them to hit Southwest that freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
Had we beat a couple teams, we'd have ran into them. So, just being a competitor, I like, okay, let's see what that's about.
Right.
But we never made it to them. I'm probably glad we didn't.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But, you don't have to pick the perennial powers. Just go in and find out what the coach is about, the work ethic, the whole makeup of the program. Like Aledo, I'm pretty sure Duncanville, DeSoto, SOC, they run it like a college program.
Absolutely.
So that's what you want to look for.
Now, Coach, we talk about these things all the time, and you're privy to these situations and outcomes of where people go to school at. It in recruiting, it does have a factor of where you go to school at.
Oh, yeah.
It factors. But
you can believe it or not, yes, it does.
But you have to be selective, and I'm going back to when you come out of middle school. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the high school when you're there. But when you're in the middle school, you have, if you got a kid that's in 7th, 8th grade, and, with your two kids and your kids, you have to know where they're going, and you have to do your homework. Go and sit in the stands and watch the game. You don't have to be on the sidelines, but you have to be proactive in what you do. Coach, we talk about these things all the time. Just shed some light on that a little bit.
It's almost like, you have to look at
it's
high
like
schools.
dating.
You have to look at high schools like you do. Yeah, you have to look at high schools like you do college programs, where you have to go early. The most important thing is, will my kid fit here?
Absolutely.
Will my kid be able to be coached by these guys that are here? And people, we don't want to talk about that. Is my kid coachable, right?
Thanks.
And then, is my kid a quiet coach? And then are the coaches at the school rah-rah? Those two don't normally mix. If your kid is very quiet, he's not going to mix with a rah-rah coach. So
absolutely,
you got to do your homework, not just because – and these are things we talk about in the book.
Absolutely.
Not just because there's a school on the corner, so we just going to go there. If you are serious about your kid playing next level, if you're just okay with your kid playing a sport, go wherever. But if you're trying to put your kid in a position to play a collegiate sport, it matters what high school building they're in, because the advocates, the program that they have can launch your kid to the next level, or they're stagnant, depending on, again, and then also, is there a need?
Absolutely.
If you're an 8th grader and they have a freshman QB, that's the guy, right? And you're an 8th grade QB, you might not want to go there because guess what? This guy has a year ahead of you, and he's the guy.
Right.
You know,
They
and
believe
again,
in him already.
they already believe in him. They
Right.
say he's the next man up, and 9 times out of 10, unless he gets hurt, he's the guy.
Yep.
And that's normally how it works. So you have to do your research. You have to look and choose what's best for your family and your child's projection. And you have to be able to project, you know, will my child be the type of player that can play collegiately, not just D1. Can he play collegiate sports?
Right.
And then put him in a situation to excel, and the people around that can help them grow mentally, physically, to help them get there. And then do they have an outlet?
Right.
Not every school is about recruiting. Not every school cares about getting your kid recruited. And you have a lot of schools that says, hey, time you step in the building, just because you're here, you're going to be recruited.
Right.
So you have to know the difference between all of those.
Right.
If you go to Alito and you get on the football field, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get recruited.
Go get some looks. Yeah.
9 times out of 10,
Right.
you're going to get because coaches know that program puts out good players
Right.
that are college ready.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You go to Duncanville, North Shore, they're coming,
They're coming.
but it's not guaranteed you're going to go Power 5.
Right.
Regardless of the school, you still got to be a flat out dog.
Yeah.
So again, putting yourself in a position, that doesn't mean that every kid got to go to Alito. That means whatever school you're going to, depending on what your need is for the future, right?
Yeah.
You base the school off of that.
Right.
And you move early to put yourself in position.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, seriously, like now you need to be in a feeder program
Seventh
in
grade.
middle school,
Seventh grade. Yeah.
That
Yeah,
way
yeah.
the coaches already know
They
you're coming.
already know. You know what I mean?
If you're serious about it.
Go ahead, B.
I'm gonna put a nugget out there. If you're a DB, Alito lost the whole secondary.
There you
Just
have it.
gonna put it out there.
There you have it. No,
That's it.
if you're a dog DB,
Right.
if you're a structured dog DB, Alito is not that type of program where you
Discipline.
go in there and
Come-
feel like somebody owe you something.
Come in
you
ready
won't
to
be there
work.
long.
Go and pull up a chair, lawn chair, and sit at the off-season workouts. And
It's no joke.
You go to Duncanville, you go to North Shore, you go to these programs, SOC, DeSoto, Red Oak, Lancaster. There's some waist clanging in there. You know what I mean? There's some sweat going. You know what I mean?
Early.
It's
Oh,
all, early. You know,
Survival of the fittest.
right. And if you can't eat in that room, you're gonna be out.
Real
You know
fast.
what I mean?
Real fast.
But to piggyback on what you said, that all 4 of those guys are playing collegiate football.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I watched this secondary up close probably the last 2 or 3 years. They're all going to school, but it's because they put in the work to get there too, though. You know, and they're very good players too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's just a fact, and they won 3 straight state championships with that group too as well. You know what I mean? So the proof
It's
is in the
just the,
pudding.
the history.
Right.
I mean, Alito has the most
12.
championships out of all football
That's the first thing you
programs,
see
right?
when you walk in.
Yeah. I mean, that.
So, yeah,
They put that on display. Yeah.
So you
gonna
know
see it.
every
Yeah.
college coach in the country, and this is the kind of stuff that we tell parents, the difference between bigger schools and smaller schools. In the recruiting game, if a coach can come to Dallas and hit Alito, Lancaster, so they're not going to all the smaller schools.
They don't have to.
They don't have to, because
you
I can go
can't
get
find
everything I need in 5 to 10 schools, and I'm gone.
And I'm out.
And I see you on social media.
Absolutely. They flying in right now. I've had them hit me up. You know what I'm
Houses
saying?
right next door,
Right.
to Alito.
Hey, where I need to go, who I need to see, who do you think?
There it is.
This is how it goes, but you have to be in the know of that as well. And the kids, once the off season hits, in that mindset, they have to know that this is how I go. Especially if you've been in that program. Let's say this is your junior year. You have to have seen and paid attention to how these schools come in each time they come in. This is how the game is done. And they come in, they're selective, but you have to be in the know of how this system works, and that's the reason we do this on a weekly basis, to educate and elevate you. And we got my guy B. Allen in the building to talk about that. Now let's talk about BJ. The selection process. Tell me what his mindset and what you guys discussed. He went on visits, before he made his final decision. What was that like, and how did you guys navigate that?
Okay, so the selection process, like I said, if you kept up with him, he had every country, every offer in the country.
Right.
So first we when you want cold weather, he's like, nah. So it's X out Michigan, Ohio State. So what are you really looking for? Like LSU, Bama, SEC. That's big boy ball. He's
Right.
okay. So now we're looking at those rooms, and he was originally committed to LSU. After that championship, not sure what went wrong, but it went left at LSU.
Absolutely.
So it's like, Pops, I'm gonna reopen it up. I say, cool. We had originally went to Texas when Tom Herman was there, and we didn't really get a good vibe on it. We said, okay, let's keep looking. We more visits. So the coaching change happened, and I never forget we was at a 707 tournament, and Coach Sark FaceTimed us. I was like, oh wow. I said, okay. So we talked to him, and then from the jump, BJ is number one on our board as far as safety wise. I said, okay. So we go through again, and now I'm asking coaches, like, where are you at on your board? Well,
Right.
he's 2, he's 3. Okay. So we broke it all the way down and went on another visit. We talked to Coach Sark again. It was okay. Another thing, we looked at Texas as a whole program. They weren't too good. So that played into it. We looked at the secondary. We was like, okay, these guys look. He was honestly, he was bigger than a couple of guys. Okay, you physically you there.
Right.
Okay, so only thing that may stop you from getting on field at first is just lack of playing college football.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So ultimately, he made Texas the decision. Like, okay, let's make it shake for the state.
Absolutely.
If I can go here and get some more people to come, which
Right.
I mean, that 22 class was what, top 3?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was
I
deep.
mean,
Deep.
deep.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
deep.
22,
Absolutely.
one of the best.
Right.
They brought a good class in, and out from the jump from there.
Absolutely. Now, talk about his process and transition into college. Some of the things that are different for each individual as they process and get through to college. As a freshman, you come in, you don't know where you're going. This is something, as a family, you guys talk to him, you move him in, you get him there. Talk about some of the adjustments that he had to make coming from high school, because that's the thing that, a lot of people don't talk about, and that's a big factor when, freshmen get onto campus. You have to learn your way around as well as adjust to the environment of a collegiate atmosphere.
Okay, so the adjustments, it went pretty smooth. From the jump, me and his mother he played a lot of football. So it's like, if you red shirt, we cool.
Right.
Let your body heal up.
Absolutely.
Get that college weight on. What he had to get like really ready for was the speed of the game.
Absolutely.
It's different.
It's different.
He's at a position to where at Texas he's making the checks.
Mm-hmm.
So now, not only do you have to know the whole playbook, now you got to know all the checks and all the. So that was one thing he kind of like, hey, pops, this
It's
is
different.
different.
Mhm.
Like, well, son, you're 17. It's 22-year-olds not making these calls. Like,
Right.
just be easy, learn your playbook. Like, by game 3, it was like, okay. I told him this: if you know you're not gonna play them 4 games, hey, tell him, hey, redshirt me. Let me get adjusted to it. So that was the most adjustment he had to make, like school wise, and like I said, just going to a school like Alito, academics was A1. Like if you're not getting those, you already know you're not on the field. So academically, he was good, honor roll, all that in college. But the biggest adjustment was the speed of the game, and it's a bunch of BJs there.
No doubt.
Like you leave your high school and you the man, and you get there, and I mean it's bigger, faster, stronger. Like you got to get there. You come
Right.
in as a freshman and you playing with men, to be
Right.
quite honest. And but I think he adjusted well. It
Right.
wasn't. I think only thing I had to get on him about was probably just Austin.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, no
Again,
doubt.
yeah.
No doubt.
If
No
you've been to
doubt.
Austin,
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
It's a
That's
lot.
a whole nother
It's
show by
it's a lot.
itself.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
like,
It's a
hey,
lot.
son, have fun, but hey,
Keep your head on swivel.
yeah, you gotta keep it on the swivel. It's
Yeah.
Austin, it's different. But have fun.
Right.
Like
At the
this-
same time.
Don't stress yourself out. It's college is meant to be some of the best years of your life.
Enjoy it.
So yeah, enjoy it. Second year business.
Right. Now, he was there as the program kind of took off to where it is now. conference championship, playoff appearance now. But things didn't always go his way as far as getting on the field. So talk about that a little bit and go into his mindset and from a parent's perspective and trying to keep him, encouraged, to keep his mindset focused on his business at hand, and then the decision to ultimately get into the transfer portal.
Okay, so honestly, Texas took off faster than what we expected.
Right.
Now again, we looked at the roster, we looked at the safeties, and it was okay. This probably it's a business situation. And after that, his first year, they was what
85.
Lost
Mm-hmm.
lost to Washington.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again.
And, in the Alamo Bowl.
Absolutely.
Like, okay. And honestly, everybody's job was on the line. You know, it's hot in Texas.
Absolutely.
Like they expect championships. I don't know why, but they expect championships. It's been a while since they won one.
Hungry.
And, so they got everybody, and they got the rolling, and just human nature. Like, we're going to go with what works. Yeah, that's what I can say. They went with what works. Again, to keep his head up, it's only so much you can tell him.
Right.
When he's there.
Right.
He's like, we're here. So it's like, just keep working, keep your head up, and obviously he's telling us different. Like, hey, Pops, I'm doing everything I can to get on this field, but they telling me this, they telling me that. It ain't shaking. So I'm like, well, son, let's just get through the year, and if you still feel the same way, then we can talk about it. So we get to the Big 12 championship, and by then I could tell he was done.
Right.
He was like, I don't see myself here a little bit longer. It's not, for whatever reason, I'm not in the fray, or I'm not in the graces of the coaches, and he just made a decision. Like, hey, Pop, I'm gonna jump in. I'm like, you sure? Because like, once you get in, it's a whole different animal.
Right.
So he jumped in, and again, just off the name he built in high school, he was the number 5 safety in the portal with no tape.
Right.
So that was a good thing. A lot of the big schools but want the safeties with tape.
Right.
Like, they can see the practice film, but they won't experience safety. So Coach Gilbert, I ended up reaching out to him, which he was at Texas.
Absolutely.
Before that, he was like, "Hey,
Yeah, no doubt.
That's my guy.
He gonna answer that call because Coach Gilbert was in there when he got there.
Yeah, he was my
Yes.
eyes on guy.
That's what I'm saying.
He was my eyes on guy.
And he watched him in high school.
And he watched him in high school.
So
He know what he's
he's a
doing.
DFW guy.
yeah, it wasn't too much anybody could tell him about BJ.
Absolutely.
So he like, hey, get him here. They run a similar defense, which was, hey, I said, you're not gonna find too many, because wherever you go, you're gonna have to find another. You're gonna have to learn a whole other defense.
Absolutely.
They run a similar defense, a little bit more aggressive, with BJ's position, which plays well for him.
It fits his skill set.
Yeah, he's physical. Like, if you need him in the run game, he damn near a linebacker.
Right.
He gonna come do something.
Right.
So we got to talking, and it was really short. Like, BJ got there again. The kid hadn't touched the field in 2 years, so he really wasn't for the lights. Like, he been through. He like, Pops, I just want to play ball.
Absolutely.
So we got to North Texas, and he committed on the official.
Right.
He ready to play ball.
Right. Well, that's definitely, and a lot of times those stories don't pan out like that. But if you look at the resume, that's different than where it's jumping in and he don't have a resume and he's still because his kids still in the portal now that don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
The leverage is there.
There
you
it
know
is.
what I mean? That he
That's
had
it.
from being, a 4-star, 5-star rated guy coming out of high school. So he had the high school film. The production is there.
Oh yeah.
What he did at Texas is there. And he's got coaches, speaking of Coach Gilbert, that were in the trenches with him and saw his work ethic every day.
Relationship.
That's why I'm coming to you real quick before we get to Jaden. Talk about that a little bit. This is something we talk about all the time. You can rewind this, go to the On Your Mark Show YouTube channel. It's there as well. We talk about these things weekly.
It's a lot to unpack. I'll make it real quick. Everything he said about his son, what he did in high school, it all came down to when he felt like he wanted to play ball and this happens a lot, guys. You know, where a kid could be at one high school, they could be at one college, and the room is just so thick. The playing field is leveled away from them to adjust. That's not saying that he ran from adversity. He ran to opportunity. That's the difference, because now he's in a place where his value is through the roof, where he can play his game right now. So relationships, because Coach Gilbert knew him when he was in high school, knew him when he was at Texas, that mattered. And his leverage was he was a dog. Wasn't hurt. He was just waiting behind some guys that were older, that time was now. Right. So he used everything that he could, and it worked out to his favor. We'll see what happens next year, right? So the biggest thing is, again, we always say you got to have leverage, you got to have value.
Right.
And he had both.
Right.
So, and again, that doesn't work for a lot of people. With him being so many places, you know, and having such a great name, and again, a wonderful family where coaches know, hey, this is what I'm getting. Right. I know what I'm getting with this kid.
Absolutely.
Right? Because I know him personally.
Right.
Right. So I can take a chance on that and roll the dice.
Absolutely.
We good. So it's all the same.
It is what it is. But you know what you have to go back and look at is what he built on a resume.
Absolutely.
That's what got him with. Sometimes you get into
and he stood out.
And he stood out. You know what I mean? And in the practice film, like you said, all of that goes into it. He never bowed his head. You never heard some things that he was disgruntled or whatever. His attitude and his approach to the game.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's my point exactly.
That was one of the points I hit when I talked to him. Like, just don't, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's gonna be some ego into it.
Absolutely.
Like I said, you the man from day one, from 6 till 17.
Absolutely.
So my main thing was like, just keep your professionalism. Now don't. I know you want to lose it. I know you. Hey, just stay at it. Do your work, and so they can't put that jacket on you.
There it is.
Absolutely.
There it is.
Now let's flip the script a little bit. Jaden Allen, you know, you have 3 boys, right?
Just two.
Just two? Okay. Because somebody was asking me, ain't another Allen coming out? I said, I don't know. Somebody was asking me the other week. They thought you had another kid coming through.
That's my little nephew.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me the other day.
They all look the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I knew it was another one coming. Somebody asked. I said, I don't know, but I'm talking to him this week, so I'll find out. But Jalen Adams is coming in with the same type of resume, but a little bit different body type. But I think, you know, you spoke about his footwork and, you know, technique. You know, and then he's such a sticky defender, but he'll come up and thump too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
he'll come up and thump. You know, and he's one of those guys that stood out. He got a chance to play as a freshman, a starter at corner, high level football.
You know you're a baller.
You know you're a baller. At Alito. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to do.
I remember when he was coming in as a freshman, and the thing about Jaden is he never quit. You know, there was some games where he struggled a little bit, and he never backed down. You know what I mean?
Dog.
And that's the reason he was able to start from day one. But talk about Chip a little bit and his journey, you know, coming into high school.
So his journey, I tell a lot of people, they ask what's the difference. I mean, to me, it's not really a difference. I mean, they just package different. But all the attributes BJ have, he got it.
He got it.
He just in a smaller package.
Yeah.
Like you said, he going to come thump something. All 150, he going to throw it at you.
Right.
But here's just a funny story. We got to Alito, and like I say, he's a freshman. He's 140, 130 soaking wet. And I was talking to Coach Buck, and he was like, well, you know, I don't like to start freshmen. He's like, but damn it, Brian. I got to.
Right.
Like, I got to. You know, the freshmen, they go through their little learning curve. Like you spoke earlier, like if you're not a rah-rah guy, don't sit in a quiet. Well, Jaden's a quiet kid. Right. So him and Coach Buck kind of
bumped heads.
Like Jaden's the guy. Like, Coach, you don't have to holler at me. Like I know my dude. I know my job. So once they got on board, they threw him at the day one, like his first game, varsity game, pick six.
I remember. Yeah. I remember that.
Like we call him Chip. Like I said, he been smart his whole life.
Right. And
it's just you got people telling me, "Oh, you just got these offers for your brother," which ain't nothing wrong with. That's what Big Bro there for, to open the gates for you.
Right.
Absolutely.
And like you say, they see him and they try and pick on him, and they're sadly mistaken. Like you can come this way if you want to, but I mean, so he's a warrior. He's a warrior.
No doubt. But I think his mindset is different. You know, you speak of him being soft spoken. You know, I had a chance to interview him freshman, sophomore. But talking to him the last game, that chip is gone. He's a dog now. You know what I'm saying?
He's a corner.
Yeah, no, I'm saying. I mean, I've seen him on the field. You know, I'm on the sideline. I can see him. He talking the ball. He doing everything. You know what I'm saying? That last game against Smithson Valley, him and Chris Johnson, they put it on my guy. You know what I'm saying? That was a really good receiver. You know what I'm saying? But they matched up with him very well. But he's come out of his shell a little bit, is what I'm saying. If you get a chance to talk to him,
he got that swag.
He got that swag
on top of the chip.
top of it. You know what I mean? And
Well, that came from the kid was going to Texas. So
Yeah,
they kind of put a little juice on it. They was like, oh yeah, I better get your money back for this one.
Yeah,
So we finna show you something. But,
absolutely.
I think the best thing that happened for him is his brother left. So now looking back there, you got big brother back there. Like, hey, I can do whatever.
Right.
Yeah, big brother ain't back there now.
Right.
Not saying the other safeties weren't up to par, but
The chemistry.
yeah, when you got hey BJ, I'm gonna let him go.
Yeah.
Get him.
Right.
Or I'm from the press. Like, cover me up.
Right.
So, but when BJ left, all the coaches were like, hey, we noticed, he turned he's turning into a leader. He's, like I said, the whole secondary, they kind of fed off each other.
Right.
So they got physical. They got, Mouthy. You've been out there.
I know.
They gonna let you know we're
They
here.
gonna let you know. Yeah.
It ain't gonna be an easy day. But that was the best thing that could happen to him. When BJ left, it made him grow up.
Right.
Like, it's your turn now.
Right. Now his recruiting process was very early as well. But I think that's because of, you mentioned him being able to go along on those visits and stuff with BJ, so they got to know him. But I think the film was there as well, as a freshman. In Texas, it's hard to start. At corner, as a freshman, it's hard to start, you know what I'm saying? So that's a premier position where you're on an island early and facing guys. Yeah. And it's harder to run backwards than it is forward at an elite speed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think that's just something that, corners don't get,
and to do it as a freshman.
That's saying something.
That's tough.
He
At a
ran-
top school.
He ran to get some dogs.
Yeah, absolutely, he did. Out the gate.
Woo.
Yeah.
Who did we play? Cedar Hill?
Yeah.
And
Cade
they
Salter.
went after him.
Yeah.
And he didn't give up nothing.
Absolutely.
But they went after him.
They went after him. I was at that game.
I said, oh my God.
Yeah. But he's
They wanted
always,
to make him earn it.
right.
Oh, yeah.
But he's always
Yeah,
played well.
earn
He
it.
stepped
Yeah.
up. You know what I mean? And the thing about Chip, that if you watch his game, he might give up a play, but he don't get his head down. His confidence was there. That's what I'm saying.
Then when you look at it too, though, his recruitment is also based on the fact of the level of competition.
Oh yeah.
Means a lot.
Right. So if you're playing high level competition and you still don't fold and you're making plays, it makes sense to recruit you. You know what I'm saying? It's common sense. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But if
He
I'm
done saw
playing in a
some-
horrible district where I'm blowing everybody out, have you played anybody?
Right. Well, that's where you get to the playoffs and you change the game as well. So,
Absolutely.
the pendulum swings both ways.
But,
Oh, yeah.
But the recruiting is going to be slower until you get to that point.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. I know.
See
that.
what I'm saying? Because
Exactly.
the resume don't add up.
Right.
Oh no. That,
You have to wait till the resume add up.
Absolutely. Go ahead, B.
Facts. His Bama offer. We played Longview.
Absolutely.
He's the kid that I want the guy. So he followed Jaden Hill.
Yeah.
Say, hey, look, it's not when or if he is when he gets you. Like you said, keep your head up.
Right.
He got a Bama offer off the strength of that game.
Right.
They were like, who's this kid
Yeah,
following?
He was in their top 5 on their board.
Yeah.
Jaden Hill. Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey,
Yeah.
who's this guy?
Right.
So, like you said, it's the level. Like you said, when you see the man, go at him.
Right.
Go at him. It's plain and simple.
Right. Well, I think that matters a lot. The level of competition does matter, because we talk about these things all the time. Now, his recruitment and deciding to go with Arkansas, we were talking a little bit before the show started about that, what went into his decision-making, and some of the things that you guys talked about in doing that. Speak on that just a little bit.
Oh man, so he was committed to Texas, and we kind of looked at it, and he was already kind of, again, we call him Chip for a reason.
Right.
He was already, I guess, hesitant, and I think a little bit of it, he wanted to get out of Big Brother shadow.
Right.
And now let's look at the room. So we're looking at the room. Texas, we're recruiting 6 feet and up. He's 5'10", 5'11" on a good day. Nobody in the room looked like him. So we said, okay. So he came. He like, yeah, I wanna open it back up. We say, cool. So every school we went to after that, they had kids that looked like him. So if you go to Bama, they had Kool-Aid. He's not a tall guy, but he's dog.
Yeah.
We went to Tennessee. I think his name's Slaughter. But they had guys his body frame.
Right.
So we go to Arkansas. They got Durando Johnson, Lancaster.
Right.
So okay, we're gonna look at these 3 all SEC schools.
Right.
And say let's look. And he wasn't really feeling Bama. I was like, I thought it was Bama off the jump. I'm like, okay, he picking Bama.
Right.
Nick Saban came down. Said, okay, I think Tennessee was too far for him.
No doubt.
Yeah, we got up there. He was like, nah, I ain't feeling it. And, so we got to Arkansas, and I mean, it's a small college town. It kind of reminds me of Toledo.
Exactly.
So it's off the jump comfortable.
Amazing campus.
Oh yeah, amazing. Yeah, it's comfortable for him. I said, okay, can you see us outside of football? Can you see yourself here, just going to school? He's like, yeah. I said, okay. So we got to talking to the D coordinator. They love him. They love him. I said, okay. So we go through, and again, we found a guy that looked like him. We watched film. Most likely he's gonna be in this slot covering. So we looking at Lorenzo. He doing everything you doing in high school. He coming down hitting. I said, okay. And just the whole staff. I don't know if anybody knows, they got a whole black defensive staff. So that to me, not saying whatever, not getting politically on it, but it meant a lot to me. A bunch of Christian brothers,
somebody that can
family
speak
men.
his language.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely. That means something.
Makes a difference.
The DB coach is maybe 30 something.
Right.
So like you said, he can relate to them. They can speak all that young jazz, whatever.
Absolutely. You already know.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
sir.
it's like, okay. He's like, yeah, I'm feeling it. I said, okay, well, let's go on and commit.
Right.
And again, I teach them, bet on yourself.
Absolutely.
There it is.
Bet on yourself. Like if you don't have to chase the big logos. You can go to Arkansas. You can go be that man.
Right.
But it's a smart bet because you did the research.
Oh yeah.
That's
So
the point.
You're betting smart.
That's why I'm
It's
getting
not
him
like
to
you're-
explain.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bet on yourself. Yeah, that's it. And again, somebody in that room looked like him.
Right.
So they're recruiting guys like you.
Right.
You didn't want to go be a spot filler in Texas
Right.
with 6 feet and above, and the first thing you're not tall enough. But y'all recruited me here.
Absolutely.
So-
Right.
So okay, but yeah, that ultimately what led into it. They had somebody that looked like him.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I think it's a good fit. Hopefully, the staff stays intact. I mean, I know they may have some rough years, but
Of course.
I think he landed in a pretty good situation.
Well, the things that you can take from that, guys, if you're listening, is he went and did the research, coached the fit. Does he fit that scheme? He looked at the roster. All of those things that we've been talking about consecutively. This fits into what you got to do in the recruiting realm of looking at things. It's not just, you can't go for logos. You can't go for the party scene. You can't go for the girls. You got to look at all of those avenues when you come in. And then one thing that, he said, the town atmosphere. It fits his comfortable mindset is where he kind of grew up. It fits that. All of those things go hand in hand.
No, absolutely. And most important, is try to have some discernment because again, your kid, they did a lot of time researching, talking it through, not just what a coach like us, or I like the colors of the uniform.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, they got a McDonald's, close to the campus. It's a lot of work because the transfer pool is full of guys that didn't make the right decision based on the lack of information. Yeah. It's not because they, got recruited. They got recruited and didn't pay attention to who was in the room.
Right.
They didn't pay attention to what the coaches were saying to them. Every coach is going to tell you, I want you to come be a starter for me.
Oh, man.
Every coach is going to tell you that, but what they're not telling you is, are you really going to be that guy?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm telling that to everybody, but are you going to do everything necessary for me as the coach to say, okay, you the guy, you got
You
it.
the guy.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the difference.
Yes.
So you got to go where there's a fit, where you feel like this as a complete staff, right? If you got one advocate, and I say this all the time, if you got one coach out of the whole room that like you, you're probably in the wrong place, especially if he's not a decision maker.
Right.
You're probably in the wrong place. I'm just being honest.
Right.
Because when it come down to it, if he's not a decision maker, say, man, that's my guy, and the guys above him like, well, he ain't mine.
Yeah.
So guess what? I'm gonna play the guys that we like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is.
Right.
You know, you have no juice here.
No.
So you got to pay attention to all of that, and the family that works together, that talked about everything. And guess what? At the end of the day, that don't always work.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? It don't always work. So again, you try to make the very best decision, right?
doubt.
And then you make sure that you have solid relationships just in case. Because again, it is a business.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right? So we can have all the emotion we want going into it, but on the backside of that, there is a business model that we have to follow. Right?
Yeah.
And when that business model adjusts, we got to adjust with it or we perish.
Right.
Simple as that.
Right. Right. Well, man, listen, B. Allen, I appreciate you coming.
No,
this
love
has
it.
been,
Appreciate
we've
you.
been trying to connect with him for a couple of weeks. But as we close out before we go, this is a message to the parents. What can you give them, from your experience? Your family's got both of your kids stable and ready to go in college. Parents, listen up. What can you tell them to not only just get their exposure, but some of the things that you guys experienced in the recruiting realm to get these guys where they are today?
Ooh, man, I can write a book on it.
Real quick before we get out of here.
One of my good ones is don't leave it all into the coach's hand. I know I love my high school coaches to death. One thing I did, I got on Twitter, it's X now. I spend many a nights, many a early mornings sending out film. If you know the college schedule, a lot of these coaches are up at 6, 5 in the morning. Hey, I got up before that, and I send film. They waiting for meetings. Guess what they doing? They on the phone. And I mean, I'm positive I got like 10 offers for my boys just sending film early in the morning. Make sure your kid is really about that. I see a lot of kids getting forced to do it. I mean, once you get there, it's real. It's real. I'm talking 6 in the morning to 8 at night. It's football with classes mixed in somewhere. What's another good one? Man. Oh. I think
that's the gist of it.
It's so much, man.
Absolutely. Well,
I'd say,
go ahead.
Man, make family decisions. That's the one. Don't let these, I don't know what they call it, these sideline agents, uncles. Don't let them make the decision for your child. Like Coach hit, there's a bunch of kids in this portal right now with nowhere to go. Once they do get to that level, make sure, like I said, the relationships are formed. Again, like I told BJ, don't burn your bridges.
Absolutely.
Keep it professional. Don't burn your bridges. I know it's hard for some of us to keep a closed mouth.
No doubt.
But just I mean, take it for what it is, face value. Like I said, all the coaches gonna want them. I mean, when we first started the process, I was ready for BJ to commit first visit.
Right.
They talked a good game. Hey, we sold.
Right.
We sold.
Yeah. Right.
We got 10 more cars to look at. We sold. But just ultimately make the best decision for your child.
Absolutely.
Don't chase the logos. I'm living proof.
Absolutely. Man, well, we appreciate you hopping on, B. This is the end of the show where we like to thank the listeners and everybody for tuning in. Listen, we just started off hot in January. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you can go back and get the few weeks. I mean, if you got to go back, check out the On Your Mark Show YouTube channel because all of these episodes are there. But we've been giving you the recruiting blueprint, man. Coach, real quick, 20 seconds, tell them where they can find the book.
Amazon and Barnes & Nobles, the blueprint. We make it make sense. Great read. Everything that we talk about on the show every single week is there. It's a great spot for you guys to start and really get an understanding of what recruiting looks like right now, and then move forward with it. It's going to change. So more books are coming because the recruiting is going to change every couple of cycles.
Absolutely. It changes weekly and daily, hourly almost, the things that are coming out. Well, we appreciate you joining us here on the On Your Mark Show, powered and sponsored by Epic Sports Apparel. Every Play I Compete, right from the Fishbowl Radio Network, every week from 11 to 12. Listen, man, everybody that's in the comments today, like and share it, man. I'm sure there's a parent or player out there somewhere that can use this. You know, we're giving you this game to elevate and educate you. You know what I'm saying?
Hit me up anytime.
Hit us up anytime, man. We're here for the kids. We're here for the public, man. This is what we do on a weekly basis. On Friday nights, 7-on-7. Coach has got a big one coming up down in Houston, Prospect 7-on-7 this weekend.
Yes, sir.
So,
Ridge
Point High School, man. We in the field. We in the grass. We in the cut. You know what I'm saying? Listen, take this jam out, man. My guy, Maynard Mike, is going to take us out. Shout out to my guy, Scott Rapp, for putting that together. We'll talk to you next week right here on the On Your Mark Show.
Hey, this Manna Mike. I'm not sure what you own, but this here is on the mark. Like a spiral from a 5-star recruit, we throwing darts, really focused. WD-40 couldn't stop the way we grinded. In the trenches, putting that work in, I relate to all my linemen. This is for the men, the boys do not belong here. Tiptoeing to the top, we doing cone drills. The hottest show in the world, you don't even gotta search. Steady putting in work, you see the sweat up on my shirt. They wasn't aware of us at first, we wasn't on their radar. Now every play that we make, they gon' say, "Oh, similar to a razor blade, we gon' stay sharp." The news ain't official if it's not on the mark.